From the outside, it always looked like everything was under control. LeBron James leading the Lakers with his usual charisma, and Russell Westbrook smiling through the media sessions, repeating that the team just needed time to find its rhythm. But behind that polished surface, the atmosphere in Los Angeles was far from stable. According to several insiders, the relationship between LeBron and Westbrook was never truly peaceful. While cameras captured friendly handshakes and sideline encouragements, the reality inside the locker room was filled with quiet tension and unspoken resentment. The two stars represented different worlds: LeBron, the architect of narratives and leadership; Westbrook, the relentless competitor who refused to conform to anyone's image but his own. People close to the organization have revealed that LeBron's public support for Westbrook was more of a strategic gesture than a sincere partnership. Throughout the season, he would often emphasize loyalty in interviews, claiming that he believed in Russ, and that the team needed to let Russ be Russ. But as the Lakers began to struggle, his tone behind closed doors shifted dramatically. LeBron allegedly started to suggest subtle changes to the front office, ones that didn't include Westbrook in the long-term picture. His approach was never direct. It was political, carefully phrased, and built to maintain his image as a team-first leader while silently pushing for a different path. Behind those golden jerseys and bright lights, LeBron was reportedly eyeing another reunion, one that could redefine the Lakers' future. According to multiple reports, he privately advocated for the arrival of Kyrie Irving, his former teammate from the Cleveland Cavaliers. The idea of reuniting with Kyrie had always been floating in the background, but for it to happen, Westbrook would have to be traded. Publicly, LeBron denied any involvement, but internally he was said to have made it clear to key members of the staff that Irving's addition would be the missing piece. The irony was that the only way to get Kyrie was by moving Westbrook, the same player LeBron publicly defended. That contradiction was something everyone in the Lakers facility seemed to notice, even if few dared to speak about it. Westbrook, however, felt it deeply. For a man who built his career on authenticity, intensity, and raw emotion, the idea that someone would preach loyalty while quietly orchestrating an exit strategy was infuriating. Teammates described Westbrook as becoming increasingly distant as the season progressed, avoiding the usual team banter and skipping post-game gatherings. His confidence began to erode, not because of his on-court struggles alone, but because he could sense the cold shift in LeBron's energy. The public narrative, however, told a completely different story. Interviews painted a picture of brotherhood, mutual respect, and shared goals. Reporters would often capture moments of laughter between the two stars during warm-ups, unaware that those smiles were, in truth, a fragile performance for the cameras. For the fans, it looked like unity. For those inside, it was an act of survival. The Lakers brand demanded harmony, and LeBron, the face of that brand, knew how to deliver the illusion perfectly. And so, while fans argued on social media about rotations, stats, and chemistry, the real drama unfolded quietly, in looks exchanged in the locker room, in cold silences during team meetings, and in conversations that stopped abruptly whenever someone walked in. What the public saw was a partnership struggling to find balance. What the insiders witnessed was the slow decay of trust between two men who were supposed to lead together. The stage was set for one of the most awkward stretches in recent Lakers history, a season where egos, expectations, and silent manipulations would collide under the blinding light of Hollywood. Inside the Lakers' locker room, every smile had a story, and every handshake seemed rehearsed. As the months passed, the illusion of harmony between LeBron James and Russell Westbrook began to crumble. The tension wasn't explosive or dramatic, it was quiet, strategic, almost cinematic. LeBron, the mastermind of narratives, knew how to move the chess pieces without letting anyone see the full board. Westbrook, on the other hand, felt like a piece being pushed out of the game. To the cameras, LeBron's mantra was still, "Let Russ be Russ." But those words were losing weight. Teammates started to notice the cracks. A lack of eye contact, subtle sarcasm in team huddles, and that unmistakable cold energy that only athletes recognize when trust is gone. Reports later revealed that LeBron's supposed loyalty was part of a larger play. He had already started whispering to the front office about bringing Kyrie Irving to Los Angeles. His old ally, the man who helped him secure a championship in Cleveland. On paper it made sense. LeBron and Kyrie had chemistry, star power, and a shared understanding of how to perform under pressure. But there was one obstacle standing in the way: Russell Westbrook's massive contract. For Kyrie to come, Russ had to go. LeBron, ever the tactician, denied wanting such a trade in every interview, presenting himself as a team-first leader. But the whispers inside the Lakers facility told a different story. He wasn't just thinking about the next game, he was thinking about legacy. Westbrook felt the pressure long before any rumor hit the headlines. He could read the room, the awkward silences, the fake encouragements, the way certain conversations stopped when he entered. He knew something was off, and he wasn't wrong. His once fiery confidence began to flicker. He still showed up early for practice, still fought on the court, but there was a visible frustration behind his eyes. It wasn't just about losing games, it was about losing respect. To him, LeBron's leadership had become political, more about optics than honesty. The same man who preached brotherhood seemed to be scripting every move for the cameras. The most revealing moment came during a Lakers event meant to showcase unity, a celebration featuring none other than Will Smith as a guest of honor. The atmosphere was set to be lighthearted and inspiring, a perfect chance for the team to show its chemistry. But before the actor arrived, witnesses said LeBron and Anthony Davis suddenly left the room, returning minutes later with exaggerated smiles, laughter, and dramatic energy. When Smith began speaking, LeBron took over the moment, quoting lines from The Pursuit of Happiness and leading the conversation like a director guiding his cast. Cameras captured every second. Fans saw charisma, teammates saw performance. Westbrook, sitting quietly nearby, could barely hide his irritation. To him, the whole scene felt staged, artificial, a movie without authenticity. After the event, he reportedly turned to a teammate and muttered, "I can't stand this fake stuff. It's exhausting." That single sentence summed up months of suppressed emotion. Westbrook, a player who thrived on passion and raw energy, was now stuck in an environment that felt manufactured, where every gesture had a purpose and every smile had an agenda. Behind the curtain, the disconnect grew. LeBron, obsessed with maintaining his image as the ultimate professional, continued playing both sides, publicly defending Russ while privately planning for life after him. Team staff started referring to the situation as Hollywood basketball, where what you saw was never what it truly was. Westbrook's frustration turned into isolation. He stopped engaging in post-practice conversations, ignored certain meetings, and kept his circle smaller than ever. For him, basketball had always been about emotion and authenticity, but now it felt like politics. The situation became impossible to hide when trade rumors finally exploded in the media. Reports of the Lakers pursuing Kyrie Irving were everywhere, and even though LeBron dismissed them as speculation, few inside the team believed his denial. Westbrook's silence during interviews said everything. He didn't need to address the rumors. His body language already told the story of betrayal. The distance between him and LeBron was no longer invisible. It was obvious, uncomfortable, and irreversible. Still, the Lakers tried to maintain appearances. During timeouts, cameras would catch LeBron and Westbrook exchanging brief words, pretending to discuss strategy. But those who stood nearby said it was nothing more than empty talk, short, polite, and mechanical. The magic that fans hoped to see between the two stars never materialized. What remained was a partnership based on convenience, not chemistry. By the end of that turbulent stretch, both players had become symbols of something deeper than basketball, the conflict between authenticity and image. LeBron, the calculated leader, and Westbrook, the emotional warrior, could never truly coexist. Their worlds collided under the spotlight, and no matter how hard the Lakers tried to script harmony, the truth eventually leaked through the cracks. And that truth was simple: the brotherhood was an illusion, one crafted for headlines, not for heart. As the season progressed, the fragile alliance between LeBron James and Russell Westbrook began to crack beyond repair. The tension that once hid behind locker room smiles now hovered like static in the air. Every timeout, every huddle, every awkward glance told a story that cameras could only partially capture. The media painted it as competitive friction, But those close to the team knew it was deeper. It was personal. Westbrook felt cornered, alienated, and tired of being the scapegoat. Every loss became his fault. Every misstep turned into a headline. And while LeBron maintained his calm, political composure during interviews, his silence in private moments spoke volumes. Westbrook wasn't just fighting the opponents on the court, he was fighting the invisible walls within his own team. Teammates started noticing the divide. Practices turned tense. Film sessions grew shorter with less communication and more stares. Anthony Davis often acted as the mediator, trying to smooth over conflicts that no one wanted to name out loud. But the problem wasn't fixable with simple pep talks or leadership quotes. Westbrook had lost faith. He could sense the subtle hierarchy inside the Lakers. LeBron made the calls even if they came disguised as team decisions. To Russ, it wasn't basketball anymore, it was politics played in sneakers. One day after a loss, he left the arena without speaking to anyone. The next morning, rumors spread that he had confronted the coaching staff about his role, questioning why he was being benched during crucial minutes. The room fell silent when LeBron walked in. Their eyes met, and for a split second, every unspoken word between them was understood. There was no trust left. Off the court, the storm intensified. Sources close to the Lakers' front office confirmed that LeBron's influence in trade discussions had grown stronger. He wasn't directly demanding moves, but his opinions shaped the entire decision-making process. And those opinions didn't include Westbrook. The irony was brutal. The same man who said, "Let Russ be Russ," was now subtly orchestrating his exit. Westbrook, meanwhile, began to pull away from team activities. He stopped joining group dinners, avoided media interactions, and kept to himself during flights. His once electric personality had dimmed into quiet frustration. Those who knew him best said it wasn't just about basketball, it was about respect, something he felt slipping away each day. The breaking point came after a heated loss to the Suns. Westbrook had been benched for the final 5 minutes, despite having one of his best shooting nights of the season. Cameras caught him leaving the bench early, shaking his head. In the locker room afterward, reports claim he and LeBron exchanged tense words. Some say it was calm, others describe it as explosive. What's clear is that it marked a turning point. For Westbrook, that was the moment he realized he wasn't part of the Lakers' future. For LeBron, it was confirmation that the partnership had run its course. No more smiles, no more forced camaraderie, just a professional truce until the inevitable trade. Behind closed doors, executives were already exploring options. The Kyrie Irving rumor resurfaced, this time with more credibility. LeBron remained quiet publicly but didn't hide his excitement privately. To him, pairing with Kyrie again was a move toward redemption, another chance at rewriting his legacy. But to Westbrook, it was the ultimate betrayal, being replaced by the very kind of star LeBron once claimed to value him as. The locker room energy shifted overnight. Players stopped taking sides but couldn't ignore the obvious tension. Some said it felt like walking on glass. Any word could spark another confrontation. By mid-season, Westbrook's frustration turned to apathy. During warm-ups he was distant. During team meetings he stared blankly, saying little. Even his trademark energy, the fire that made him one of the most relentless competitors in NBA history, seemed extinguished. The media began speculating about his mental state, asking if he still wanted to be in Los Angeles. LeBron's response was diplomatic. "Russ is a professional. We're focused on winning." But privately, LeBron was already moving on. He knew how this story would end, it was only a matter of when. Yet, what no one expected was how public the fallout would become. During one game, after being subbed out, Westbrook was seen ignoring LeBron's attempt at a fist bump. The clip went viral. Analysts debated for days, dissecting every frame. Was it disrespect? Frustration? Proof of a rift? Inside the Lakers, the answer was clear. It was the physical manifestation of everything that had been boiling under the surface for months. That brief moment said more than any press conference ever could. The next few weeks became unbearable. Every win felt hollow, every loss a confirmation of dysfunction. LeBron tried to maintain control of the narrative, emphasizing unity in interviews, but the illusion was gone. Fans saw it. The media saw it. And most importantly, the locker room felt it. The brotherhood, that once seemed unbreakable, was now nothing more than a memory. The once promising duo had reached the end of their road, not with a dramatic confrontation but with silence. And in that silence, the Lakers' dynasty dream began to fade, one awkward handshake at a time. The day Russell Westbrook's name first appeared in trade rumors again, it no longer shocked anyone inside the Lakers organization. It wasn't a matter of if anymore, but when. The energy around the team shifted from tension to resignation, as if everyone silently agreed that this chapter needed to end. Reporters flooded social media with speculation. Westbrook on the move? Lakers Kyrie reunion? LeBron pulling strings again? And though no one inside the team confirmed it, the truth was written all over their body language. LeBron's posture, calm but distant, said it all. He wasn't fighting for Russ anymore. He was planning for what came next. Behind the scenes, sources revealed that LeBron had already given subtle approval for the front office to explore a potential deal. Not an explicit command, he was too media savvy for that, but the message was clear. He wanted a roster that fit his rhythm, his system, his legacy. Westbrook, with his unpredictable energy and emotional playstyle, simply didn't align with that vision. The Lakers, desperate to salvage their season, saw the writing on the wall. It was time to move on. Rob Pelinka began quiet conversations with other teams, floating offers, gauging interest. The whispers reached Westbrook's camp quickly. And once they did, the already fragile relationship between him and LeBron completely shattered. For Westbrook, it wasn't about basketball anymore, it was about betrayal. He had believed in the idea of building something with LeBron, of chasing a championship together, of silencing the critics. But now he realized it had all been built on convenience, not camaraderie. In his mind, LeBron used him as a stepping stone, a temporary piece in a much bigger plan. Russ felt humiliated. During practices he barely spoke. During team flights he kept his headphones on, eyes fixed on nothing. The laughter, the inside jokes, the sense of brotherhood, all gone. When LeBron tried to make small talk, Russ answered with short, polite sentences. The chemistry that once fueled highlight reels had evaporated into thin air. Media pressure intensified. Every press conference turned into a chess match of words. "Do you still believe in this group?" one reporter asked LeBron after a loss. "We've got to control what we can control," he replied, smiling faintly. It was the type of answer that said everything and nothing at once. Fans read between the lines. Analysts dissected every tone, every gesture. They saw through the diplomacy. They sensed that LeBron was distancing himself from the mess, preparing the public for the trade that was about to come. And yet, publicly he maintained the same old phrases, "I support Russ. He's one of the best to ever do it. We're figuring things out." But inside the locker room, those words carried no weight. Westbrook saw right through them. Every time LeBron said, "We've got to be better," Russ heard, "You've got to be better." Every time LeBron posted cryptic quotes on Instagram about sacrifice and vision, Russ felt they were aimed directly at him. The passive-aggressive atmosphere became unbearable. Even team staff started noticing the divide. 2 separate tables during team dinners, 2 separate huddles during warm-ups. Anthony Davis tried to hold it together, but even he couldn't hide the frustration. "We can't win like this," he reportedly said after a particularly ugly loss to the Kings. The locker room was fractured. Some players gravitated toward LeBron, drawn by his leadership and star power. Others empathized with Russ, who had become the silent outcast, enduring daily criticism and whispers about his future. What was once a team now felt like a divided house waiting for demolition. By January, the tension reached a point of no return. During one timeout, cameras caught LeBron giving instructions while Russ stood off to the side, visibly disengaged. It became one of the most replayed clips on sports networks that week. "You can see it in his body language," analysts said. "He's done." Even casual fans could tell something was broken beyond repair. Then came the moment that sealed everything. After a particularly heated loss, Westbrook reportedly confronted LeBron in the locker room. The details remain vague, but insiders say it was a raw, emotional exchange. Not violent, but brutally honest. Russ accused LeBron of pretending to be a leader while manipulating everything behind the curtain. LeBron, unfazed, told him it was just business. Those words echoed in Westbrook's head for days. Just business. The phrase that destroys friendships and builds legacies. Shortly after the trade went through, Russell Westbrook was officially out of Los Angeles. The announcement came in the middle of the night, a late WOJ bomb that exploded across social media. The Lakers packaged Russ and a few picks for new role players, signaling a fresh start. LeBron posted a vague tweet hours later, "To move forward, you have to let go." Fans immediately connected the dots. Some praised him for his leadership. Others accused him of backstabbing a teammate. The NBA world was divided, but one thing was certain. The LeBron Westbrook era had ended in silence and resentment. When the team reconvened after the trade, the atmosphere was noticeably lighter. Players joked again, staff smiled, the tension had vanished. But for those who had lived through it, the scars remained. Everyone understood that in the NBA loyalty is a currency, and LeBron James more than anyone knew how to spend it wisely. Behind every smile, every headline, every handshake there was strategy. And while fans debated who was right or wrong, the truth was far more complicated. Both men were victims of the same system, a league that rewards results over relationships. The LeBron Westbrook saga wasn't just the story of two superstars clashing. It was the story of what happens when ambition, image, and pride collide under the blinding lights of Los Angeles. When the dust settled, the Los Angeles Lakers looked like a team reborn. Headlines filled every sports outlet. Westbrook traded, end of an era in LA. The city that once celebrated his arrival now buzzed with mixed emotions. For LeBron James, the move represented another calculated step toward maintaining control over his legacy. One that demanded adaptation, reinvention, and sometimes sacrifice. For Russell Westbrook, however, it marked the closing of one of the most difficult chapters of his career. One that forced him to confront not just failure on the court, but betrayal behind the scenes. As the new roster began to take shape, LeBron appeared energized. In post-game interviews his tone changed. The tension in his words was gone. "We're playing with more freedom," he told reporters after a win against the Pelicans. Everyone knows their role. What he didn't say, but everyone understood, was that Russ wasn't part of that freedom anymore. His absence brought an unspoken calm, a quiet that allowed LeBron to refocus on his mission, chasing another championship before the window closed. Behind the scenes, Rob Pelinka worked tirelessly to rebuild around LeBron and Anthony Davis, surrounding them with players who understood the system, who wouldn't challenge the structure, who would blend into the machine. The message was clear. The LeBron era was still alive, but it now had zero room for chaos. Meanwhile, across the league, Westbrook was trying to find himself again. The trade sent him to a smaller market, away from Hollywood's blinding lights and endless scrutiny. For the first time in years, he wasn't the villain, the scapegoat, or the headline. He was just a player, a man trying to rediscover his rhythm. "I'm at peace," he told reporters in his first press conference with his new team. But behind the calm tone, there was a flicker of fire. Russ wanted to prove that he wasn't finished, that his story wasn't defined by what happened in Los Angeles. "I know who I am," he said. "I've been through worse. I just want to hoop." Back in LA, LeBron faced a different kind of battle, not against another player but against perception. The narrative around him was shifting. For the first time in his career, fans and analysts began questioning whether his leadership came at too high a cost. Is LeBron too controlling? Does he destroy chemistry to get what he wants? Sports talk shows debated it daily. Former players weighed in, some defending him, others calling him out. "He's a genius," one said. "But every genius has casualties." LeBron, of course, stayed silent. He had learned long ago that speaking only gives power to speculation. Instead, he let his game do the talking. Every pass, every clutch shot, every comeback win became a message, not to Westbrook, not to the media, but to history itself. He wasn't chasing validation. He was chasing legacy. "I don't play for narratives," he said in one interview. I play for greatness. For Westbrook, the road was less glamorous but more genuine. Freed from the noise of Los Angeles, he started to smile again. He played harder, looser, more like the player who once earned an MVP. There were flashes of the old Russ, coast-to-coast drives, relentless energy, that raw emotion that made fans love him. Each game was a statement. You thought I was done? Watch this. Even opposing players noticed. He looks free again, one rival said after a close matchup. The media started to soften. The redemption arc had begun. Still, both men carried invisible scars from their time together. For LeBron, it was the weight of knowing that every decision he made came with consequences beyond the game. For Westbrook, it was the sting of realizing that loyalty in the NBA often ends when convenience does. Their paths had diverged, but their stories remained intertwined, two sides of the same coin, both shaped by ambition, pride, and survival. Months later, when the Lakers faced Westbrook's new team, the atmosphere was electric. Cameras zoomed in on their handshake before tip-off. Brief, professional, emotionless. No words were exchanged, but the tension spoke louder than anything. Fans held their breath every time they shared the court. Russ attacked the rim with his trademark ferocity. LeBron answered with a fadeaway jumper. It wasn't hatred, it was history. Two men who once shared the same jersey now symbolized two conflicting philosophies of the game. After the game, LeBron praised his former teammate. Russ played great tonight, he said calmly. I'm happy for him. But those who knew him well could see the calculation behind the words. Not bitterness, not regret, just closure. Westbrook, on the other hand, didn't hold back. I'm not looking back, he told reporters. I'm focused on where I'm going. Time moved on as it always does. The headlines faded, the debates quieted, and both players continued writing their stories in different ways. LeBron's Lakers kept chasing titles, driven by his relentless pursuit of immortality. Westbrook, meanwhile, carved out a new identity, no longer the misunderstood star of Los Angeles, but the symbol of resilience in the face of rejection. And yet, whenever their names appear together again, the echoes of that turbulent Lakers era resurface. Fans argue, analysts speculate, and the question lingers in every conversation. What really happened between LeBron and Westbrook? Maybe the truth lies somewhere between rivalry and respect, between trust and betrayal, between leadership and control. But one thing is undeniable, their time together left a mark that will forever be part of NBA history. The LeBron and Westbrook saga wasn't just about basketball. It was about image, influence, and the cost of greatness. It was about how two powerful forces collided in pursuit of the same dream, and how, in the end, both walked away changed forever. Because in Los Angeles, under those blinding lights, every victory comes with a shadow, and every legend, no matter how bright, casts one.